In today's video, I'm going to explain to you why I just ordered a new M1 MacBook Pro from Apple when they just released the M3 MacBook Pros a couple of days ago. And the reason is, well, I'm a tired ass and maybe you should be too. Maybe that's not exactly the only reason, but there is a bit of merit in what I'm saying here. Apple just released the new M3 MacBook Pro series, and they're, as everyone keeps saying with the reviews, an incremental bump up from the M1 to the M2 to the M3, where you're getting a few nice to haves, but really you're not getting a massive performance gain over the M2, or even that being said, the M1 for what the majority of people do. I've been making videos for the past 3 years now, and if I look at all the computers I've had since then, I've had a Surface Book 3 with an NVIDIA dedicated graphics card, I've had a 2017 MacBook Pro 15-inch, I've had a 2017 iMac, and right now I'm editing this on my partner's M2 base model MacBook Air 13-inch, and all of those computers have been more than enough for the way I record and create videos. So jumping up from any of those older devices to a 2021 M1 MacBook Pro 14-inch with the binned 8-core GPU and 8-core CPU and 14-core GPU is a massive bump up for me regardless. And I think this is where, if I look at what I want to use it for, the power, the performance, and what I'm getting out of the M1 MacBook Pro, for me really is the main justification, in that it will do everything I want and more for a much cheaper price point compared to the new M3 models. So with that being said, let's jump on the Apple website and break this down. So jumping onto the Apple website here, the first thing you're greeted with, of course, is the new MacBook Pro with the new space black color. And if we go buy on this model, you're going to see it is a very similar body to the original M1 MacBook Pro that I've just ordered. You've got the 14 and 16-inch, basically the same thing, but then it breaks down into 3 different chips instead of 2. They've introduced just a regular M3 MacBook M3 processor as the starting point, and there's a few issues I have, and I guess a few reasons why when this was announced, it made me really consider the M1 instead. So this is just a regular M3, not an M3 Pro, and it starts at 2,700 Australian dollars. What you get for that is an 8-core CPU, a 10-core GPU, and critically for me, you only get 8 gigs of unified memory. If I was going to bump up to a more similar comparison of the model I just ordered, you'd look at the M3 Pro, and this one here has an 11-core CPU, a 14-core GPU, and an 18 gig unified memory, but that's $3,500. And that is for the base model, the bin version of the 14-inch M3 MacBook Pro. But what we're going to do is actually have a look at the model I just ordered and do a quick side-by-side comparison. So what we're going to do is in the top corner here, select on the search option on Apple's website, type in the word refurbished, and we're going to select on refurbished Mac. So refurbished Macs are a great way of getting a discount on products from Apple, but the beautiful thing is they have been certified from Apple, so you get that still in Australia 2 years warranty. They're basically brand new devices. You couldn't tell the difference between a refurbished and a new device, but you get a very big savings. And then I'm going to scroll down, I'm going to select and filter by MacBook Pro, and you can see here the model I just ordered, it's arriving in a few days, is the refurbished 14-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 chip, 8-core CPU and 14-core GPU. So let's open this one up and have a quick side-by-side comparison. The first thing you'll notice is that this computer is only $2,300. It ships with the binned 8-core CPU, 14-core GPU, but if I look at the specs of it, it also ships with that 16 gigs of unified memory. If we jump back and look at the new M3 models, the base model starts at $2,700, which is $500 more than the refurbished model here. It only ships with 8 gigs instead of 16 gigs of RAM, and it's got 4 fewer CPU cores, which is 10 compared to, 4 fewer GPU cores, which is 10 compared to 14, and it has the same amount of CPU cores. So if I was actually going to spec up even just the base model with as much RAM as the M1 model, I'd go here and I'd add in that 16 gigs, and I'm now up to $3,000 for a base model M3 with 16 gigs of RAM, whereas I can get an M1 Pro for $700 cheaper, already with that 16 gigs of RAM. It is a certified model from Apple, certified refurbished, which means it's going to be basically brand new. In terms of the design aesthetic of it, you'd be very hard pressed to tell the difference between the two models. They look almost identical, minus a port that's been removed on the newer M3 base model. And if I look at the performance of it, for what I do, the M1 Pro outstrips all the devices I've had previously. So really, I'm not going to notice much of a difference between an M1 and an M3. Something that really honed in the message for me of how good the M1 MacBooks are is actually Marques Brownlee. So thank you, Marques, for your latest video, where he talks about having tested and having ordered the brand new M3 MacBook Pro fully spec'd out. And then once he played with his review unit of it, waiting for his official unit to arrive, he actually canceled the order of the M3 because he said for his workload, for his everything he does, which is make much more better, higher quality videos than what I create, his M1 device still works just as well, and he couldn't justify the fact that he was going to upgrade from an M1 to an M3. So I think if one of the biggest tech reviewers out there doesn't need to upgrade his, albeit high spec model, from an M1 to an M3, someone like myself that uses a lot less in terms of processing power will be more than happy with the M1 Pro and the savings that I'm making here. And the beautiful thing is, being a refurbished device certified by Apple, I still get all that warranty. I can add Apple Care to it. I've got Apple makes sure that their refurbished devices look brand new, so you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between it, and I'll be able to save a lot of money this way. One thing I will let you know about buying a refurbished device off the Apple website though is that not every model is on there all the time. This model last week wasn't available, and it just appeared the other day. When it popped up, I said I'm going to buy it because I know it comes on and off quite quickly. So if you are looking at buying a refurbished model, you may not get the spec you want at the time you're going to buy it. So if you're not in a rush, maybe wait a week or two, figure out the kind of specs and the money you want to spend, because the refurbished website obviously isn't as customizable as what you can if you're buying brand new. So you might have to make a few compromises. For me though, I was lucky enough that they put in a new or refurbished base model M1 MacBook Pro. I was waiting for this for a while. It popped up the other day and I thought, that's it, just press the button and buy it. And I cannot wait for it to arrive on Monday. So there you guys have it. That is why I ordered an M1 MacBook Pro in 2023 when Apple just announced their M3 lineup. Let me know what you think of the M1 versus the M3, and of course, any other thoughts and comments in this section down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.